I think as of recent, and maybe this has always been a thing, and I just wasn't aware of it until now where I started interacting with it more. But I think that we're experiencing a absolute death of honest discussion. And I feel like we've even seen as a society a death of debate, at least online. Absolutely we have. Maybe it's a lot better in person. I haven't really done a lot of controversial debates in person. But what I do know is that when it comes to online discussion, debates are almost a complete waste of time. Not because debates are in a waste of time. I think debates are good. You should talk about controversial topics and disagreements and work things out and talk about different viewpoints so that we can all get closer to the truth. But that's not what happens. Most times that people quote unquote debate, it's really just a complete argument. It's this immediately hostile discussion or interaction where people are just looking to put the other person down and win at any cost imaginable. It's crazy how many times a discussion can simply start by one person saying something very innocently, very calmly, and then immediately one person disagrees and immediately takes it personally. No, I disagree, and actually your opinion is stupid. And then they force that person to get locked into combat and spend the next 7 hours gruelly debating in this pointless discussion because it is pointless no matter what the topic is because the moment it starts like that and people are just locked into combat like this, it's not going to ever be productive because no one is going to want to admit any faults, any semblance of truth mattering goes out the window because it's all about winning at that point. You have made it into a competition, and at that point, sophistry just rises as a normal utility. You'll say anything to win. And I'm definitely guilty of reacting in that way because I can be particularly irritable sometimes. But I just hate how easy it is for people to get locked into that. Because immediately people act so offended when they see anything they disagree with. And they just turn what could be a very calm and rational debate into a locked trap of an hostile argument. One of the most frustrating elements of that is how you can't even just admit that you don't know something. You have to fake it almost, because if you don't, that hostile debater will instead choose to take that as a sign of weakness and then call you completely irrelevant and dismiss any other points that you've ever made. You don't know enough about a specific topic? It's as simple as this. Say, I'm not sure. I'll have to look more into that. But this is what I think on this other stuff. You don't have to constantly explain every single thing. Not everybody can dedicate their lives to this type of thing. But immediately, because you don't know one thing, that does not invalidate everything else that you said. It doesn't invalidate all your other arguments or discussions or points to bring up. But people will constantly treat it like it does because of this whole winning the argument competition mindset. It's frustrating. I've definitely found myself locked into these frustrating 7 hour discussions which even if they start off very calm and reasonable, they quickly escalate. It's like nobody, and I'm definitely guilty of this sometimes. I'm not going to pretend to be righteous over this, but it's like nobody's able to just calm down and have a moment of self-reflection to realize I do not want to fight. for 7 hours over this opinion that these people have. It's a waste of time. It's such a waste of effort when I know this person doesn't care. They just want to win. I've definitely noticed that I have to put in a lot of effort to recognize when that trap has caught me so that I can just stop, so that I can take a moment and say, and leave that argument. No matter whether or not the other person is going to immediately think that I've admitted defeat or whatever. At some point, you just have to end a conversation. You have to be able to leave a argument or a debate. You can't stay there forever, especially if it doesn't seem like that person is going to be willing to give you a single inch. A certain point where you just can't continue, and that's okay. You have other things that are more important for your time than to spend the 8th hour debating this one person online who is not going to change their opinion. But it often feels like you have to give up your entire life just debating this one person, otherwise they will rub it in your face and act like they have completely invalidated all of your concerns. It's kind of a bit of a debate bro mindset, but it's not just this like online, oh, debate me thing. It's definitely just normal people can absolutely get caught up in this. And I think more people should try their best to recognize that it's okay to step away from a debate or an argument. If you want to debate, do it. Do it calm, do it reasonably, and do it fairly. Don't immediately turn it into a hostile argument and a competition, because then you completely lose all productivity. And you will also make the entire interaction miserable. You will benefit no one, you will feel worse. That's all that will happen. And the more you encourage this whole competitive mindset, the more you're completely and actively sowing your own problems in the future. Because now you've encouraged this mindset and attitude that causes you to look like that you've lost, that you've completely lost all validity to anything that you said because you couldn't explain one thing, or because you didn't want to continue and you decided to step away after the 20th hour straight of debating about whether or not the taxes should be raised by 0.5% in a single county of New York for the time span of 2026 to 2029 in order to raise a few funds for, I don't know, something. Because you don't even know what it is. You don't even know what the whole purpose is anymore. You've lost the point. I have an occasion. I think we all have experienced something like that, where we've just completely locked in this nonsense discussion. If I see this, if I sense that hostility, that competitive mindset to someone who disagrees with me, I've kind of learned that I'm just not going to interact with that, because I know that if I encourage this, if I give them the hour of the day, we will be completely locked, and it'll just be the most miserable experience, and no one's going to learn anything, which sucks, because I bet sometimes some of those discussions could probably turn out useful. Maybe sometimes it's a misunderstanding. But because everybody is so focused on this competitive mindset with debates, it becomes more practical and more reasonable to just simply try my best to learn when an interaction with someone is worth it and when it is not worth it. And when it seems like it's not worth it, I just stop. I don't interact. I don't even entertain it. Obviously, in some cases, I think that's exceptions. Like if it's very important, then I will at least see what they have to say if I respond at least once or twice, right? Because some issues are just incredibly important. But for most issues, they really aren't that urgent. And I just have to realize this doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter if I win over this person's mind over something so insignificant. And guess what? They're not anyways. You're never gonna win over someone's mind on the internet. I don't think I've ever seen this happen before. Because I don't think that healthy debate mindset is even remotely common anymore. It's all my side versus your side. My side's always right, your side's always wrong, and nothing that you say will ever be valid. And I have to say anything possible to make sure that you feel like you've lost. It's just awful. Anyways, on this topic of debating and avoiding discussions, now is the most appropriate time for me to do the segment where I ask you what you think about my thoughts. So let me know. Have you experienced this debate mindset? Do you think I'm overreacting? How do you feel about this whole situation? How do you feel about everything I've said right now, just in general? I'll give you the blanket slate. Uh, what do you think on my thoughts? Simple as that. But again, all I ask that you be calm and reasonable and give people the benefit of the doubt if you see someone that disagrees with you, that maybe they just want to seek truth honestly. Just be careful not to get locked into a pointless competitive argument of nonsense. Anyways, once again, give your thoughts on my thoughts. God bless you and keep you.